Chris Paul. This does not surprise me that the Clippers did this. Sending him home in the middle of the night. To be specific, 3 a.m. when the team is already in Atlanta. The Clippers always find a way to do something that does not make any sense. So what does that mean? I've seen the rumors. Could the Lakers try to target Chris Paul? And I got a lot of views on that. Deondre Hawkins here with another edition of Lakers Talk Daily presented by Pechanga Resort Casino. And you can play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, the official Native American resort and casino of the Los Angeles Lakers. Skip the traffic. Head on over to Pechanga Resort Casino just off the I-15 in Temecula. Visit Pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for reservations and for more information. So the thing that just keeps on going in the back of my mind is you knew what you were signing up for when you signed Chris Paul. And I'm not trying to get into a big rabbit hole into what happened and why did it happen. But the news that came out as far as Chris Paul, they didn't like how vocal he was. They didn't like how he really showed attention to detail, how much he cared. He was one of those that he wants to win. And the Clippers, knowing that you're signing, you know who you were signing up for. Chris Paul, he played for your team for 5 years. You understand the Chris Paul experience. And the fact that you're doing this in the midst of a season, just honestly, it doesn't surprise me that the Clippers are doing this and did this. Look what happened to Blake Griffin. Look exactly what they did to Blake Griffin. There's no need to get into detail of that. But this is just another way of Clippers going about things the wrong way. So now, with Chris Paul being sent home and the Clippers going to find a way to release him, I've seen speculations of should the Lakers go after and target him. And honestly, I'm going to just let you guys know right now, I'm not for it. I respect Chris Paul. I love what he did for the game of basketball. He is a Hall of Famer. But at this point of his career, there's no need for the Lakers to sign him. He was barely playing minutes for the Clippers. He was missing games. Not even because he was hurt or anything, but healthy scratch because of his age. He didn't really provide much on the floor for the Clippers. There was a lot of tension coming in with Chris Paul in that locker room. He was going in there, and there was reports that he wasn't even speaking to Ty Lue for several weeks. He took an accountability to the front office. He held the players to a higher standard. Like, Chris Paul is one of those vets that is going to demand a lot. Don't get me wrong. It worked out for him with certain situations. Remember when he worked out with Shai Gilgeous, improved him. He was with Houston. They went on a little run, didn't win a championship. We understand all that. Clippers, arguably, Chris Paul being on that roster with Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, he brought a lot out of that Clippers experience. But right now, at this point of his career, there's no need to add Chris Paul. The Lakers need to shift their angle to something else. How about improving the wing? How about improving the defense? That's where the Lakers' attention needs to be, not adding a veteran like Chris Paul at this point of his career. I understand J.J. Redick's got a great relationship with Chris Paul. He made comments to saying that, look, I have nothing but high respect for Chris Paul. I just hope he doesn't win a championship with the Clippers. And he's not throwing that shade at Chris Paul. He's throwing that shade more towards the Clippers because of how the Clippers run things. He was very high on Chris Paul, saying that he is one of the highest respected veterans you can ever think of in the entire NBA. So J.J. Redick is big on Chris Paul. But when I look at that, I'm like, you add him into the mix with LeBron, you add him into the mix with Luka and Austin Reeves, that probably won't mesh well because what we're trying to get right now is who is going to hold this Lakers team accountable. And we're looking at LeBron James to do that. We're looking at Luka Doncic taking that role. There's no need to add in Chris Paul. You see, players in this NBA do not respond well when being held accountable. Look at the experience with DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul in Phoenix. I know they made a finals run, and they got a lot out of that. He squeezed a lot out of DeAndre Ayton, and there was comments he made is, yes, I was very hard on DeAndre Ayton because he does not like losing. He does not like losing, and he was hard on him, constant, every single game. And did it shut down DeAndre Ayton? No. But towards the season after, when the Suns didn't win the championship, you look at it, that you see the decrease of Deondre Ayton because he couldn't take that no more. He couldn't take that respective coaching. He couldn't take that Chris Paul was constantly on him and being hard on him. And you look at DeAndre Ayton now. He's happy. He is playing well. Why need to add Chris Paul into that mix? Because you already know they had their course. Their course is already ran. There's no need to try to add in that again and go through that whole situation with Chris Paul being hard on DeAndre Ayton again. He is playing great basketball right now. I'm telling you, there is no need to add Chris Paul to this Lakers team. Do not do it. Do not do it. And I understand, I see all the rumors, I see all the speculations, but I'm just saying right now, that would not be a good mix. The Lakers have something that's good right now. They still have some pieces that they need to add. LeBron James still needs to figure out how he's going to be able to fit into this rotation, which I feel like he has done so. Generally done so. But then you look at it, Chris Paul comes in, the ball needs to be in his hands. So you're taking the ball out of Austin Reeves' hands. You're taking the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands. It just doesn't make sense right now at this point of his career, especially with how this Lakers roster is constructed. That is it. There is no need to add him as a veteran. But again, I respect Chris Paul. I respect what he has done for the game. But I'm just letting you know right now, just not going to work. Take a little break. I'll let my partners at Pechanga give you guys a quick word and we'll touch more on this.
At Pechanga Resort Casino, you can rock and roll, sip and slide, twist and shout. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, official Indian gaming sponsor of the Lakers.
One thing I will say, though, that I do respect out of Chris Paul is that I love how he holds people to a high standard and holds people accountable. And it's just, honestly, it's just mind-blowing me that they sent him home, knowing what you're going to get yourselves in for, knowing that how Chris Paul is, knowing what he's done for that franchise. You signed him for a reason, to be that guy, to keep people, holding them accountable, management, coaches, players, all that. You know how he is on the basketball court and off the basketball court. But to be honest with you, that Clippers roster as a whole was not constructed the right way. You go in, you think that you're going to have success with a bunch of guys who are older, especially at this point in their careers, their respective careers. It's not going to work. The game is different now. Teams are running up and down. The game is played at a faster pace. So that's why you look at the Lakers, you're already not a good fast break team. You don't get up and down the court. You gave up 28 transition points to the Phoenix Suns. You only had 2. So you think adding Chris Paul is going to help out in any of that aspect? No bueno. No bueno. And this is not Chris Paul, his character. This is not Chris Paul, the player. This is just Chris Paul being a fit for the Lakers. And that's where all I'm standing on. And this is all I'm just trying to get at. And I think you guys are all pretty much on the same point as me and understanding of what I'm trying to say. But one thing I will say is you can't argue that Chris Paul is one hell of a player. And he's going to go down as one of the Hall of Fame, one of the great point guards that ever played this game. But just right now, it does not seem right. And I just don't think he'll be a good fit along with LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. And again, you see with DeAndre Ayton, you see how well he is playing. And you've seen that Chris Paul was very high on him and very hard on him. Don't need that right now. He's playing good basketball. He's at a good mental state. He's getting to the right spots, right spots. And you see how he's meshing well with his offense. DeAndre Ayton is doing well right now at this point in the season. We're just looking for that consistency. LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, they got his back. They are the ones that can help hold him accountable. Don't bring in Chris Paul to try to hold each and every one of those guys accountable. That is going to be LeBron, Luka's job, JJ Redick's job. Don't need to add in a veteran like Chris Paul to do that right now. Man, this is very interesting, though. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the NBA. Giannis is going to be on the market. He demanded a trade. A lot of stuff is going to be going on in the NBA. So we are going to be locked into this Lakers Talk Daily. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Your boy is out.